A lot of times we forget it's not our money. We look at it like it's monopoly money. We look like it's our money. We look at it like we have a voice in it. It's not our money. Mike Fisher reporting from frigid Frisco, home of the Dallas Cowboys, where Pro Football Talk, Mike Florio, is suggesting, no, insisting that Dak Prescott compromise. And Pro Football Talk has broken down the numbers, exactly how this compromise is going to work. Let's pick through this thing, treat it seriously, while all along understanding it's not our money. The money in the NFL belongs to the owners, the players, the agents, and the cap. So we have to balance that with the fun of presuming that we know what's right. And the guessing games, the two big ones are, here's all they need to do, and what will it take? They really do sound like names of game shows. Pro Football Talk, I'm going to argue here, has fallen victim to the game, as all of us have at different points when it comes to Dak and the Cowboys, and every other contract we talk about. Pro Football Talk writes, so what will it take? 4 years, $130 million would result in an average of $32.5 million, and then Florio adds, and a $60 million signing bonus. Now, you're a Cowboy follower and you want a resolution, and everybody involved wants a resolution quickly, in large part, not only because we're sick of it, I know you are, Dak fatigue. That's why we promise, every time we talk about Dak, I promise you we're going to try to advance the ball, recognizing that we all have Dak fatigue. Even Dak has Dak fatigue at this point. But Cowboy fans want a resolution, not just because you're tired of it. The world of the Cowboys wants a resolution because the sooner they get one, they can have a better grip on their financial state as they move forward with other business. So in this regard, yeah, hurry up. I don't know, 4 years, $130 million, that's what it'll take. But, item, last year, as we reported at the time, Dallas' proposal was for 5 years. Who says the Cowboys are prepared to reduce that? Item, last year, the agent, Todd France, wanted a 4-year deal for his client so Prescott could get another bite of the apple sooner. And again, that was exclusive at the time. The idea was, the TV contract, it's going to expire after the 2022 season. I want my client to get another contract as quickly as possible after that, another bite of the apple. As I think we've all figured out by now, by the time they get a new contract in there, the cap's going to explode, salaries are going to explode, star salaries are going to explode. We're going to go from 180 this year, I don't know, 250. And then people's salaries will go up in that same manner. Think about it. In some ways, I'd be signing a 2-year contract if I was all of these guys. Or given the fact that we now know the cap this year is going to be a shrunken 180 or so, 180 basement, I guess is what it is. I might sign a 1-year contract. I'll take another bite of the apple next year. But certainly, I don't want to sign for more than 2. Understanding the injury risk and all that kind of stuff. So, knowing what we know about Todd France's approach last year, which is I want a shorter term contract that's closer to 2022, after 2022, who says that Todd France this year won't propose another shorty? Just because Todd France said 4 years last year, why does he have to say 4 years? Why would he be agreeable to 4 years this year? We don't know that. He might say 3 years. He might say 2. Item. Last year's Dallas proposal, as we were the first to write, was $110 million or so in guarantees. I have no idea why Florio thinks it's important to mention $60 million signing bonus. That's not significant. You put $110 million guaranteed on the table. I don't really care about the signing bonus. If you guarantee me $110 million over 4 years, we're good. By the way, not everybody understands this. The $60 million signing bonus that Pro Football Talk is proposing doesn't necessarily mean they hand Dak a big gigantic check for $60 million. That can still be paid incrementally. It can still be paid on Tuesday payday times 17. So that's not important. And most of all, item. Last year's Dallas proposal, as we were the first to write, was worth an annual average of $35 million. Now, again, don't be on anybody's side here. Just think logically. I offered Dak $35 million last year. Why does Pro Football Talk think he's going to take $32 million this year? I'm going to go from 35 down to 32 in my offer to him? Why? That doesn't account for anything. Hey, Dak, we think you're worth $35 million 8 months ago. Now we think you're worth 32. Here's a pen. Even Jerry Jones, on this issue of compromise, because that's PFT's reasoning, that it's all compromise. Jerry Jones told us the other day, Dak's got all the leverage. That doesn't mean that Jerry needs to bow to all the leverage, but the idea of going to Dak Prescott and saying, we'd like to grab some of the leverage back by undercutting you by $8 million a year is not a winning argument. The fact is, and we've discussed it here, we don't all have to like it, but the people with knowledge of where this negotiation is going see the APY number as being higher than last year's 35, not lower. 40 million is a round number that gets thrown out, as you know, because we've thrown it out a lot. We don't know it. I don't know that it's 40 million, but there's some logic to it. Given that the franchise tag salary for Dak's going to be about 38 million if they don't get a long-term deal done, and that in 2022, he'll either be tagged again at $54 million, unlikely, or allowed to go free. And quote from a person with great knowledge of this, trust me, Dak Prescott, if he's free after this year, will break the bank. What, besides goodwill, would motivate Dak Prescott's side to take less now than was already offered 8 months ago? You should know that the salary cap part of this, and Pro Football Talk also plays with this, this is not a mystery. A lot of people think that if you sign Dak to 4 years, 5 years, 40 million, whatever, that the salary cap impact is $40 million. It's not. We've always worked on the first year salary cap impact being between 20 and 25. So that's no revelation. Get a long-term deal done, have it spread out, and the longer you can spread it out, that's where this voidable years story comes from. Again, this is not a unique concept. That ESPN story, and the numbers are right, but it's still a 4-year contract for Dak. Just got voidable years at the end of it that spread out the impact. And you want the impact low, so you like the years, whether they're shadow years or not, to be longer. So we're working at Dak Prescott being $25 million a year cap impact his first year. That part's great. That part's cool because, and the sooner you get that done, the sooner you can go shopping and do other business. Dak's going to count 25 instead of 38. Great. We just benefited by $13 million by doing this deal before we had to tag him. March 9th is the deadline for that. So the salary cap impact, we understand that. Deal average is 40 million. You can make the cap impact be 25 the first year. Get that number locked in, and like Troy Aikman told us not long ago, Cowboys can sleep well. But from Dak's financial perspective, do the math. Get out the big calculator. Where I had one somewhere here. 38 million this year. Tag him again next year, 54. Then hit the market in 2023 when 40 million APY will be a bargain because of the new cap. Over 4 years, that's 172 million. Why should Dak Prescott sign with Dallas for Mike Florio's 130 when he can be fairly assured that he's going to, in the same 4 years, if he doesn't sign it that way, make 172? Why would he take a $40 million kick in the balls to compromise? Why? Or they don't tag him in the third tag, obviously. Don't tag him after this year. Then he goes free. Then he's out there counting on, and it's probably a safe bet, that he breaks the bank out there on the market. So don't tag him, and then he makes his 38 this year, then he hits the market next year, then it's 40, 40, 40. Again, way more than the Florio proposal of 130. What motivates Dak Prescott to sign for 130 when he could get 170? To compromise? To cooperate? To be a nice guy? That's the way you do it in your business? We can want him to do that. We can suggest he does that. You can cross your fingers he does that. But I don't understand Pro Football Talk's thinking in that they're saying this is how to do it. It's not how to do it. Nobody does this. The proposal from PFT essentially suggests that Dak should compromise by hurrying to sign a contract that's arguably under market, but inarguably under what he's already been offered. I'm not going to sign for less than you already offered me. In that sense, this proposal, and I appreciate your thoughts and your following us and your clicking and your hanging out and all the rest. Thank you. In this sense, that proposal is not only presumptuous, but worse, it would take negotiations backwards. Go to Dak and say, hey, remember that $35 million a year we were offering you? We'd like to do 32 now. You do that, and you're going to take these negotiations backwards. The exact opposite where you want to go, because the Cowboys and Dak Prescott are having a tough enough time as it is moving forward. Fish out.